अच्छा हुआ. If that flop, that would have been.
Start with cheers.
Start with cheers. Alright guys, welcome back to our podcast Kuch. This is episode number 6.
He remembers.
Yeah?
Good.
It's not been a lot, so yeah, so welcome back, and today we have a new guest with us, Shravan.
Namaste.
Thank you, Shravan, for joining us. And like always, today I'm not going to apologize for the eating sounds, but rather I'll be like, this is something that's going to be normal. So guys, don't get.
Just be okay with it too.
And if you want, you can get some food while listening to it as well, if you feel hungry. But yeah, as always, we have Bharad here. So let's start with the topic today. The topic is about cricket. And
Same topic.
cricket in India and cricket in USA. दोनों पे बात करेंगे आज. So let's start with cricket in India. And probably the early life cricket. Maybe let's start with Shravan. Shravan, like, खेलना पहले चालू किया था क्रिकेट या देखना पहले चालू किया था?
यार स्टार्ट तो एक्चुअली देखने से ही हुआ था.
Okay.
And I'm just trying to go back to like my earliest memories of cricket, and for me I think cricket is linked so closely with family in general. Kyunki I don't know, I mean, you guys have probably seen my dad and my mom and everyone is like, they're like, big cricket fanatics. But, my entire extended family is the same way as well. So, growing up in Bangalore, I used to go to my aunt's place a lot. So I was probably like 5-6 years old, and my cousin brother, who lives in Virginia now, so वो बहुत बड़ा पागल है क्रिकेट का. तो he was someone that I used to, घर पे प्लास्टिक बॉल के साथ बैट के साथ खेलने का, and he was like,
older than you.
Oh, he's much older than I am.
That's what.
But he was
he already was a cricket fan.
Yeah, but he was still like a smaller kid than me at that point. ऐसा मतलब बिंदास खेलने का, घर पे सब कुछ कांच पुट छोड़ने का ऐसा सब. So that used to be the case, and because I was there as a little kid, we used to get away with a lot of shit because it was, छोटा बच्चा है तो जाने दो. But watching cricket, there was one incident that I remember where कोई तो इंडिया पाकिस्तान का मैच हो रहा था उस दिन, 1 day at that point. This is like what, 93, 94, so I was probably 6 or 7 years old at that time, I guess. इंडिया पाकिस्तान का मैच था, नॉट लाइक वर्ल्ड कप का, बट लाइक कोई बायलैटरल सीरीज का ऐसे कुछ. करंट चला गया मैच के बीच में. माय कजन हु वाज डूइंग हिज अंडरग्रेड एट दैट टाइम एंड माय डैड गॉट सो पिस्ड, मेरे को भी लेके बाइक पे ट्रिपल रोड उठा के सीधा, इट वाज कॉल्ड द इलेक्ट्रिसिटी बोर्ड, कर्नाटक इलेक्ट्रिसिटी बोर्ड, केई भी बोलते थे उस टाइम, सीधा उसके ऑफिस के सामने जाके गलाटा चालू. कैसा तुमने करंट निकाल लिया इंडिया पाकिस्तान के मैच से. So that is like one of like the first real memories I have. Oh, exactly. It was like nuts, and so that's where I think the whole passion kind of stems from.
I thought कि बाइक पे सब बैठे और किसी के घर जा रहे हैं क्रिकेट देखने, जिसके घर पे होगा शायद लाइट.
They demanded
अपने घर पे चाहिए, अपने घर पे चाहिए देखने को. So that's the level of craziness and passion, I guess, and that's where it comes from. And it's kind of the same. I'll talk about some of the later instances baad mein, I guess, but that's I think where the whole interest for cricket kind of stems from. And I think, like most of the people our age growing up at that time, I think just the fact that there was someone like Sachin in the team, I think you naturally just gravitate towards that, as an idol growing up as well. So
I think for me it was mostly to do with I started playing first before watching, because at my place sports was not a big thing, like overall, like not just cricket, but nahi hota tha utna. So for me, few of my neighbor kids used to play a lot of cricket, and wahan se and that's what the thing is even now, right? Like I am a lefty bowler because I was a dominant left-handed, but since all the other people in my apartment complex were right-handed batsmen, I just generally became a right-handed batter. Because उनको देख के मेरे को बस वही पता था कि वैसे बैटिंग होती है. I never realized कि लेफ्ट से भी बैटिंग कर सकते हैं.
इतना चूत
I'm not joking. Like it took me some time after I started watching cricket, because even the friends that I had in school were all right-handed batters. So पता ही नहीं चलता भाई कोई कर क्यों नहीं लेफ्ट हैंड से बैट, कोई नया रूल है क्या भाई, क्या है ये?
No, I mean, but yeah, that used to be a thing, right? I mean, not just for cricket, I guess, right? But अभी जैसे बचपन में apparently when I started growing up, I was actually left-handed. Like even I bowl left-handed as well. But I used to write with my left hand apparently. But then that's like earlier it wasn't considered like a very nice thing.
Correct.
So my parents actually got to the point where they forced me to start writing with my right hand. So those kind of things also happen, and it used to be very common back then as well.
So yeah, that was the thing. So but yeah, I started playing cricket, and my love for cricket or even my passion started actually way after 2003. Like I think 2007 World Cup, the T20 World Cup we won, was when I actually got into cricket. I was like, ठीक है, India है किधर तो पहला तो हमको लगता था वही like कि भाई आ रहे हैं, खेल रहे हैं, हार रहे और जा रहे हैं. Like that was my thing. Sachin was the one. My dad used to follow him, but he was more of reading about Sachin and stuff, but rather than watching a lot of games. So yeah, for me cricket was that. But I never got into cricket so passionately because इतना लोग था मेरे आसपास क्रिकेट खेलने वाला. मैं बोला भाई मैं फुटबॉल ही खेलेगा क्योंकि बिल्डिंग में मेरे कोई फुटबॉल नहीं खेलता था, तो मैं फुटबॉल इंट्रोड्यूस किया मेरे बिल्डिंग में. इट वाज दैट वे. So cricket was something like that. But yeah, I think that was my introduction to cricket. And this might be similar for most of the Indian households. यहाँ पे you might have played cricket with that bat that your mom or your someone in your home, your maid might have used to wash clothes.
कपड़े धोने के लिए, yes.
I don't know if you remember. There was. देखा है कभी?
It's actually I think less popular in South India, but we used to have
really?
one. हाँ, चंडीगढ़ में growing up we
okay,
had one, but
okay.
Bangalore में कभी था नहीं हमारे पास.
Interesting, yeah. So there is
It's like this thick wooden small bat kind of thing, and they actually smack the clothes with it.
yeah.
But why are they smacking clothes?
To get the dirt out.
Like movies में सिर्फ clothes को ही पटकते हैं ना,
हाँ.
ऐसे ही इधर clothes को नीचे रख के bat से पटकते हैं.
Yeah,
As simple
exactly.
as that.
So we used to
So
use.
it's a very popular thing.
So at home, right? Since bats बड़े होते हैं at home, and these are small ones, right? So you cannot hit them very hard. So we used to use those as bats at home when we used to play. So हाँ, उससे बहुत खेला है. मार भी खाया तो खेला भी है. ऐसा था वो. 2-in-1 था वो. But yeah, how about you, Bharad?
I have no recollection of my earliest memories of my cricket, to be honest. I think I played a lot of sports growing up. Cricket wasn't really like a standout for me. I mean, I represented, like, I went on to play table tennis in the state level and all that. So it was like, cricket was like something that everybody played in the street. It was very close to me. You know, like, everybody played cricket. And if I wanted to have a great time, like fun, if I wanted to have fun, I didn't want to like focus on how I'm playing, and so that was cricket for me. Like just niche jao, like pick up a bat or ball and fucking play. No, that was cricket. And I had a lot of friends who would just play cricket that way for fun.
Okay.
So gully cricket and whatnot, not competitively. I didn't play competitive cricket until about 8th standard, 9th standard at least. 9th standard is when I first played for school team. Then I played for a little while. Then it was split between cricket and football for me always. Like I always prioritized football, but cricket I played whenever I had time for the school, college and all. It was there.
No, but I mean, during your childhood, you used to only play cricket in the gully. But how about watching? Like you used to watch cricket?
Oh man, we never had cable, dude. Fuck all. I used to love cricket. Doordarshan was the only shit we had. Like and then then my father finally found out how to get this theft cable. You can tap into the other person's shit. There was that Y splitter. He did that shit, like he went up, he spliced to the cable, he tied his rope. Came dude, cable TV aa gaya. Then he'll be like, watch it only when, in a time where everybody goes to office. I'm like, acha, like, what why the fuck do I care? I have this cable now. So yeah, early morning I used to wake up to watch the India-Australia games, like away games. India used to go to Australia. 6 a.m., 7 a.m. I used to wake up to watch those games. Those were fun.
Okay. And how about your dad was?
No, none of them were really. I had to follow cricket because my friends followed cricket. That was they were more passionate about the game than I was.
Okay, interesting.
Like, then I knew many people who played, like Dinesh Karthik, Sen Beads. Like I played with. Ashwin was in my zone in cricket in SSN. I've seen him play right there. So you start seeing that it's like not a big thing, right? Because when you look at football, you never see a Lionel Messi playing. This seemed like something that you could just do.
That's what I think that was the same thing for me. Even because school ke time pe when we used to have the summer camps and we had football, cricket, both other sports including. But मैं कभी cricket खेला I would never try because there were so many people for cricket. I would be like अरे यार कितना एक तो time मेरे को लगता है chance ही नहीं मिलेगा. Because there would be bias as well. Right? Like I wouldn't call you guys know like Saurabh Netravalkar is like I have been with him in school and so I would hear his name a lot and मेरे को पता था कि वो player इतना अच्छा था कि there wouldn't be any kind of bias with him but I would see other players who would just be around the coach a lot of times and they would get selected or they would be the people who would get more chance to bat or be bowl. बोला यार ये सब नहीं चाहिए मेरे को and football was the thing कि तू टीम में है तो तेरे पास बॉल आएगा तू मारेगा. So that was the reason I never got into cricket a lot. But yeah, I used to enjoy watching because someone like Saurabh who used to bowl, watching him bowl itself would be so much fun. And then I had a couple of other friends, who were probably seniors or juniors to me who used to do well in cricket as well. So हम लोग देखने जाते थे, but never got into like proper leather cricket. The leather cricket that I started was in 2017 when I moved to Raleigh. I never even I think एक बार मैंने लाइफ में अपने उसके पहले लेदर बॉल का कैच पकड़ा था एंड आई हैड ब्रोकन माय एंड वो फर्स्ट टाइम था लास्ट टाइम था इंडिया में जब मैंने लेदर बॉल के साथ मस्ती भी किया था भाई. उसके बाद आई नेवर ट्राइड प्लेइंग क्रिकेट इन इंडिया विद अ लेदर बॉल. So you played for your school?
No. So I was going to come to that. So my experience with leather ball also before starting to play in the league here in the US has been very minimal as well. So school में ना खेला, typical like families जो होते हैं कि हाँ भाई passion है but पढ़ाई that's the main thing, just focus on that and forget sports and forget everything else type. And unfortunately I guess the high school that I went to, the sports infrastructure was like terrible there. Like terrible मतलब था ही नहीं, literally it was non-existent. But academically it was a great school, so it made sense to go there and all of that stuff. So it was like, okay, chalo, I'll pursue that. But I never really got an opportunity to get engaged on like a regular basis. The only time I had some leather ball experience was 6th standard के बाद vacation में my parents were like, हाँ खाली है, हमारे जान पहचान वाला ही कोई coaching कर रहा है, he's starting this new coaching venture, so why don't you go and join? So me and another cousin of mine who's like a year younger to me, the two of us went. So he was just finishing 5th standard, I was finishing 6th standard, तो दोनों हर रोज जाते थे. That was a good experience, but then again, it's like 1.5 months mein what are you going to do, especially at that age? And because it was like a fairly big group of people, there were like easily 20 people or something, and it used to be like a 2.5 hour session or whatever. पहला आधा घंटा तो ग्राउंड के चक्कर काटो, फिर 15 मिनट ड्रिल्स करो, स्ट्रेचिंग करो, ये वो करो, एंड देन आओ बैटिंग करने के लिए, बॉलिंग करने के लिए, एंड within like 3-4 overs your batting is done. And similarly bowling also, because there were so many people, even bowling you wouldn't get a chance, which is not something that happens very often.
Correct.
क्योंकि bowling के लिए तो you're always
correct. Bowling के लिए हमेशा कम लोग होते हैं.
Exactly. Batting के लिए सबको करना होता है ऐसा, लेकिन उधर bowling के लिए भी उतना scope नहीं था. So that was like literally the only time I played leather ball, and because उससे पहले जो भी टेनिस बॉल में खेला हूँ, turn wasn't necessarily an aspect of tennis ball at that point. Like you need to be like fairly skilled to be able to consistently turn or spin a tennis ball. तो हम लोग तो सिर्फ गली क्रिकेट खेलते थे, तो I never had any experience batting against turn and stuff. But that's where a couple of friends that I was going to that coaching camp with, they used to turn the ball very well and leg spin डालते थे. And it took me like good 2 or 3 weeks into that camp to just get bat on ball. Every single day there was this leg spinner who used to come and bowl, pitching outside leg, hitting my back leg thigh. अंदर का inside thigh guard होता नहीं, तो हर रोज bruise लेके घर आना every single day. And it pissed me off so much because I know that he's probably going to bowl that, but I would still instinctively just follow the trajectory of the ball instead of trying to predict कि क्या कर सकते हो. But other than that, zero experience with leather ball. So I think around 2017 is the same time that I started playing as well. तो पहली बार इधर आ गया तो, and tennis ball तो काफी खेला था उससे पहले भी. But then I was like, okay, इधर आके इतना अच्छा opportunity मिल रहा है, so I should probably try and use it. And that is one thing. I mean, we can probably talk more about it later, I guess. But just the fact that I feel me as a person who was not really committed, who wasn't really committed to playing cricket as much, for someone like me, I think the number of opportunities I get to play here in the US are a lot more compared to what I would have gotten in India.
इंडिया में
Hands
तो
down.
भाई
है ना, इंडिया में क्या है, संडे सैटरडे सुबह जाओ ग्राउंड में, गली क्रिकेट टाइप खेलने का है, एक ही ग्राउंड पे देयर आर 10 टीम्स प्लेइंग, forget the score of the match, you can't even figure out whose ball is going where. They're like overlapping pitches and all that stuff,
When
right?
I grew up also, cricket in the stadiums used to be a little chaotic. Lot of teams playing at the same time.
Correct,
But it used to be fun.
It was fun.
loved
I
it.
mean, absolutely,
Somehow, as kids, we had that fucking gauging,
Yeah.
dude. That was our game.
Mhm.
That is the score. Like,
Yeah.
इतना चल रहा है.
20 लोगों में से तुम्हारा फील्डर कौन है, all of that, right? That chaos used to be interesting. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I think once I started working, कंपनी के लिए एक दो टूर्नामेंट टाइप खेला है, वो भी टेनिस बॉल का ऐसे ही टाइम पास. But yeah, leather ball was like the first time, like really I started playing here. And yeah, initially it was a bit of a struggle, but slowly started picking up कि हाँ भाई हो सकता है.
तो बचपन में प्लास्टिक बॉल, रबर बॉल,
प्लास्टिक बॉल, रबर बॉल, यस.
वो उससे सबसे ज्यादा खेलेगा क्योंकि टेनिस बॉल तो बहुत एक्सपेंसिव होता था.
करेक्ट. टेनिस बॉल 25 रुपए का कॉस्को आता था उस
तो
टाइम.
प्लास्टिक बॉल में भी दो टाइप के आते थे.
हाँ, वो
एक पतला वाला और एक हार्ड
hard
वाला. भाई हार्ड वाले से तो
I'm trying to recollect the name of the
But the
brand.
hard one is the more funnest
It
one.
is awesome, dude.
Because one, even pace bowling is fun.
हाँ.
And turn इतना होता था.
अरे.
dude, Like, tak, it will turn the ball.
और लगता था वो अलग.
वो
उसका अगर गलती से गलत कैच पकड़ा,
सही में.
your finger is gone.
So there was this apartment where we used to live in Bangalore. Like this is around when I was in 7th standard or something. So there were like two tall buildings on either side and beach में थोड़ा open walkway type था. So we were allowed to play in that. And community वाले apartment वाले they had made these rules कि tennis ball allowed नहीं है, ये allowed नहीं है, सिर्फ plastic ball. And these jokers didn't realize that these hard plastic balls are also available, which are much worse than the tennis balls.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Compared to the lighter tennis balls, these balls can do a lot more damage.
Yeah. Lighter tennis ball is nothing.
Nothing, exactly. So then we used to play with those plastic balls.
लग रहा है ऐसे.
हाँ, मस्त लगता था. कांच भी एक दो टूटे ऐसे. But you know they never realized that okay plastic balls
भाई
नहीं
जो
होता ऐसे
मार
करके.
का है उसके.
हाँ, but that was the thing. So there was this one auntie second floor पे. खड़ूस and everyone has that खड़ूस
It's
and
the same hard plastic ball which has that tennis ball seam.
Exactly. That is the one.
Dude, I have gotten, dude.
I'm trying so hard to remember the name of that brand, dude. It was an amazing plastic ball.
पेप्सी का एक आता था.
हाँ,
एक पेप्सी का आता
correct.
था. रबर बॉल पेप्सी का आता था.
रबर बॉल भी सही होता था. So this auntie basically second floor पे रहती थी and you know obviously I'm sure everyone has had these kind of people in their neighborhood who will never return the ball. And this auntie used to literally just wait for the ball to come and she would just pack it, and if we go and you know ring the doorbell and ask her, she would just give us an earful and then send us back. कभी नहीं आती. So
Such क्या इंसान.
I mean this was very normal.
yeah, sad people, but you know I mean कुछ तो करना था उनको. After a point actually हमारे घर पे जो maid आती थी, she started working in their house also. So she used to come and tell us the story. So that lady apparently in her balcony she had like 3 full buckets of plastic balls that she had collected over the years. 3 full buckets of plastic balls that were just there. She's not doing anything with it. She's not throwing them away. So
Must
it's
be a
just
very
there.
sad person.
Imagine, seriously. इतना गुस्सा आता था हम लोग को. एक बार तो हम लोग इतना गुस्सा हो गए थे. We just took a plastic ball. We got so frustrated. So we hit one ball. She didn't give it back. We went and asked, and she scolded us, and she didn't give it back. So we literally went to the shop, bought another new ball just to fling it at her window. We just threw, and we all ran. The cowards that we are, we have to run. We won't stand there. इस चूतियापे में अपना हीरो बैट छोड़ दिया.
तो बैट लेके
आंटी ने देखा नीचे कोई है नहीं, बैट.
अभी वो 3 बकेट के बाजू में बैट.
Somebody who's sitting there trying to make sense of this thing over time. So imagine they didn't see the outside world. They're just looking at the 3 baskets of ball. एक बात आया रे.
अब अपना चालू कर सकता है क्रिकेट 0 इन्वेस्टमेंट के साथ करके.
That's
But playing in that environment, it was a lot of fun because उस टाइम स्ट्रेट खेलना सीखा
हाँ।
प्ले इन द वीक, रूल बन गया था इफ यू हिट द वॉल ऑन ईदर साइड बिल्डिंग पे आउट है, फुल टॉस मारा तो आउट है, तो मार के सिंगल डबल लो या फिर बाउंड्री चाहिए तो सीधा मारो करके. सो got into that situation where any length that you would bowl, we would find a way to hit it straight back over the bowler's head.
Oh, for us it was the opposite. For me, I played a lot of leg side cricket. Our field was generally like slightly straightish leg side. So in our gully, it's a dead end, and the way that it was a diagonal pitch, so we can get the maximum 6 space. If you keep it straight, you kind of restrict leg side, offside, and you come up with this geometry to get the maximum of. So it was a diagonal. So we'd have some space behind us where there'll be like some runs, but there's no 4 behind. So only 1 or 2 you could take maximum, and then all the 6 and 4 are like this way, and it's a long boundary. So that shaped my way of playing a lot, because on the cuts this way, I've never learned to hit it really high. I'll never cut the ball over third point or like. So because I never had that shot playing gully cricket. Even it had a big impact when I started cricket, even in the later stages.
Interesting, because I was going to say, because once I went into high school, we went to a different ground that we used to have close to our home. उधर ऐसा हो गया था कि लेग साइड पे सब लोग मारते थे बेसिकली, एंड ग्राउंड वाज बिग इनफ फॉर बोथ साइड्स, बट वी नेवर हैड इनफ प्लेयर्स टू कवर बोथ साइड्स फील्डिंग में. तो वी वर लाइक यार लेग साइड में तो सब पेल के मारते हैं, तो चैलेंजिंग बनाता है, ऑफ साइड खेलते हैं, ऑफ साइड ओनली, एनीथिंग behind the bowler till the keeper, anything on the offside will have runs, and then there used to be like 3 or 4 fielders on the offside. So I got so used to playing on the offside after that, which is what I think still continues now also.
अभी भी offside पे दे रहा है.
That is the only reason why I'm predominantly scoring more on the offside, is because I'm so used to that. Cut shot पे cut shot पे cut shot, drive पे drive. That was all used to playing after for like many years after that.
मैं तो पहले से बॉलिंग ही सिलेक्ट करके रखा था.
Bowling for me was something that I didn't have a choice. I have to do. In the team I played, I had to bowl. So for me, like that is how I learned spin and pace. Like I used to bowl both.
Like in my like childhood time and all, everyone wanted to show कि फ्रंट पे आके कैसा मारने का. मैं बोला भाई मेरे से पता ही नहीं चलता मेरे को कैसे करते हैं, मैं बॉल डाल के तेरे को इंजर कर देगा. तो मैं तो जाता था, मारता था, पहले तो बहुत मारा है. एंड दैट्स हाउ आई रिमेम्बर वन स्टोरी. इसने जैसे बोला ना कि आंटी ऐसे बॉल कलेक्ट करती थी, बैट बाद में कलेक्ट किया. तो हमारे बिल्डिंग में एक अंकल थे, सो वी यूज्ड टू प्ले एट द बैक साइड ऑफ अ बिल्डिंग, बिकॉज फ्रंट साइड पे there used to be a lot of traffic going, incoming going. So we were like ठीक है, पीछे के साइड पूरा खाली रहता था, थोड़ा पार्किंग दिया हुआ था, तो वहां पे थोड़े लोग गाड़ी पार्क करते थे. एंड देयर वाज दिस वन अंकल, वो गाड़ी है ना, उनका सेकंड गाड़ी था, और वो एक्चुअली में वो स्क्रैप में डालने वाले थे. बट अब कैसा है ना, गाड़ी तो गाड़ी है, तो वो खेलते थे ना, लाइक कोई भी बॉल से खेलो, उनको लगता था कि मेरा गाड़ी टूटेगा ही, और वो ऐसे पार्क करके रखते थे कि उनका लाइक हेडलाइट यूज्ड टू फेस टुवर्ड्स द बैटिंग, टुवर्ड्स द बैटर. तो अभी मारेगा तो
चैलेंज कर रहा है.
हाँ, तो अभी समझ में नहीं आ रहा वो करने का क्या ट्राई कर रहा है. तो पहले और जब देखो तब वो डांटता था. तो अभी आई हैड अ फ्रेंड हुज ब्रदर वाज लाइक अ ऑटोमोबाइल इंजीनियर, तो उससे उसने कुछ सीखा रहेगा कि तो वो अंकल को सबसे ज्यादा डर रहता था कि विंड स्क्रीन ना टूटे. अब उसने उसके भाई से सीखा या कहीं तो पढ़ा रहेगा कि विंड स्क्रीन बहुत इम्पैक्ट ले सकता है. तो वो क्या करता था, वो मारता ही उधर था जोर जोर से. अंकल देख रहे तो भी उधर ही मारता है. तो एक दिन अंकल बहुत भड़क गया, गाली देने पे आ गया, ऐसा हो गया. वो अंकल को बोलता है मैं आपको दिखाता है, आपको लगता है ना विंडस्क्रीन टूटता है. वो बैट लिया और जाके विंडस्क्रीन पे मारा. बोलता टूटा. तो अंकल बोलते हैं पर ऐसे टूटा नहीं. तो बोलता है आना मत खिड़की के बाहर. अगले टाइम इट वाज सो स्कैरी बिकॉज वो, and he was a short tempered guy, Akash sir.
Clearly.
Like, he just started walking towards the car. तो हमको लगा कुछ देख रहा है, उससे बैठ के फटाक मारा विंडस्क्रीन पे. हम लोग सब ऐसे खड़े, गया आज से खेलना बंद. बाद में बोलता है टूटा क्या. अंकल मैं सीख के आया मेरे भाई से, ऐसा सब बोल रहा है. हम लोग बोल रहे हैं भाई तू ये सब मत कर, पूरा वन करेगा. वो दिन से अंकल ने गाड़ी हटा दिया, क्योंकि अंकल को लगा कि ये भाई अगले टाइम प्रूव करने के लिए बोनेट पे मारेगा, कुछ करेगा. बट या दैट वाज अ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग टाइम इन लाइफ. हम लोग
जस्ट रिमाइंडेड मी ऑफ यस्टरडे, जो कल रैंडम कार पे बॉल लगा.
बोलता है ना प्लेयर अपना ही है, मेरे को ये तो पता ही नहीं. Oh my god. Like people were rooting for it.
At some point, initially everybody like, watch out. And then अभी देखने का मेरे को लगता है कि नहीं.
Oh man. There are these fun things.
That was an inside joke, by the way.
Yeah.
थोड़ा कॉन्टेक्स्ट के बगैर समझ नहीं आएगा बट चलेगा. सब्सक्राइब करो फिर कॉन्टेक्स्ट देंगे आगे ऊपर.
Comment down कि अगर तुम्हें और जानना है so we'll give you some more information there. But you said you played, Bharat, you played for your school and college as well.
Yeah. But that was all like by force. Like
By force.
Okay.
But you played leather or
leather ball, like cricket ball. Red ball only we used to have. White ball was not a thing.
Okay.
When I
Right,
started playing cricket, there was no white ball. Only red ball, and we used to play with that. I've never played with a new ball ever. Even during cricket matches, we used to get like a second-hand new ball only. It was never like a new ball back then. New matches would start, and they would not be like initially like a new ball bowling. And I didn't play cricket like that until I was probably in college. Like where the new match meaning they'll get a new ball. But
Yeah, makes sense.
But the amount of cricket I played, like the different styles. Terrace cricket, gully cricket. Well, like you have a grade of cricket even within the grades. Like, this is not a real match. It's like chindi shit when you play underarms cricket. It doesn't count towards the real thing.
Wait, but I think because for you the terrace was like what, third floor, right, in your building, or third or fourth floor?
हाँ, like
Had you ever tried? तो हम लोग ने पहले हम लोग भी ऐसा टेरेस पे कभी खेलते थे बिल्डिंग में. अगर कुछ कंस्ट्रक्शन चल रहा है आगे पीछे के साइड पे तो वी यूज्ड टू प्ले. हम लोग को बहुत लेट रियलाइज हुआ कि बॉल को वो टाई करके वी कैन प्ले, बिकॉज हम लोग के इतने बॉल घूमते थे.
अरे डूड,
तो हम लोग
सही में?
तो दिस वाज बेसिकली
नहीं मेरे को भी नहीं
तो
पता.
वी गॉट दिस आइडिया बिकॉज वो केबल वाला जो होता था ना, सो टीवी केबल एंड इंटरनेट का जो वायर्स होता था, दे यूज्ड टू गो फ्रॉम वन बिल्डिंग टू द अदर, राइट. सो व्हाट दे यूज्ड टू डू वाज वो रोप से बांध के बॉल को एक बिल्डिंग से दूसरे बिल्डिंग फेंकते थे, फिर वो उसको केबल कनेक्ट करके वो आगे जाता था. वी यूज दैट टू प्लेइंग क्रिकेट and that's how we got into.
Dude, that is
शाबाश यार.
smart, dude.
हमारे तो
Yeah.
बहुत पैसे बच जाते हैं.
ये की तरह हम तो नीचे good. Sometimes there'll be this audacity of people in the. I was only in the second floor. Still, the terrace was after the second floor itself.
मारो जोर से.
No, but the compound was small. Underarm cricket only. Terrace we played underarm cricket. Like in the afternoons, 1 hour time there.
Correct.
What do we do? Terrace cricket. And in that, when it goes down, there'll be this some uncle watchman. Like in our seats are dead, and so the same people will be there. Every time there's like a few people who will pick the ball and they'll think suddenly they've gotten the arm to throw.
हाँ वो फेंकते थे.
चूतिए की तरह हर बार यार, like dude, 1 year it has been. 1 year ago also I've been trying.
सीधा फर्स्ट फ्लोर में जाते.
Dude, 7-8 tries they
ऐसा ऐसा पकड़ने के लिए आजा आता नहीं.
Dude, 7-8 times and that has happened. They'll throw it and it'll go somewhere else.
Then they'll chase it. हाँ, इधर मिस once or twice now तो इज्जत का सवाल है. अब छोड़ के भी नहीं जा सकते, अब करना ही
Oh
है.
my god, you can see it in their technique only. This is not fucking going to
But yeah, I mean, but that was even for me the like first time in my life. मेरे को ऐसा लगा कि भाई हम लोग का 5 फ्लोर का बिल्डिंग था, then 6 floors the terrace, and we used to see like couple of times it has happened कि रास्ते से किसी ने बॉल 6 फ्लोर पे फेंका है. और हम लोग बोलते थे भाई कैसे रहा होगा ये, बिकॉज यू नीड स्ट्रेंथ, लाइक इवन रबर बॉल है, ठीक है, वेट है, बट गोइंग फ्रॉम दैट एंगल टू 6th floor is almost like 60-70 feet.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm still recollecting. I think my throws have been very strong since a kid because I used to throw from the bottom to the terrace. Not just in my house, but like in big buildings. Like I used to try to throw it up. Like that was a challenge I just to take up. Like simply, like even when my team was batting and they'll hit the ball down, and if I was yet to bat, I'll go down and throw the ball up so they can continue the match. So that used to be now that is a thing I'm learning only now as I'm speaking. It's not something that I'm recognizing.
So have you played with Ashwin?
He played in my college, like with my college. Okay. That time I played both football and cricket in college, both teams. Even in school, I played both teams. So for me, it was always like choosing schedules, and there used to be some conflicts from time to time. So Ashwin used to play. I have not played against him. I've seen him play because we had a football match in the same zonal, and we were part of the same team, but I was not going to play that game. So I've seen him take 7 wickets against us and score 100 in the same day. He used to be a beast.
लेकिन पहले से ऐसे स्लो भागता था क्या?
Huh?
तो मेरे को लगता
बचपन
है
से
I don't know. He was a tall dude, dude.
मेरे को
ऐसा लगता है ट्रेडमिल पे ही रहता है भाई भागते हो.
Like for us, he was.
पर उससे स्लो तो अपना साई भागता है.
Dude, that is what he told me. Dude, he's not. He's like.
एक मिनट, sorry guys for this. This is like more of an internal league thing. तूने एमएन को भागते हुए देखा है? एक मॉरिशल वॉरियर्स या स्टार में एमएन है. तो हम लोग है ना कल वही कंपेयर कर रहे थे गेम के बीच में कि एमएन इससे स्लो भागता है कि ये एमएन से स्लो भागता है.
Dude, Amen feels like he is running very fast in the face.
Yeah.
Kuch, nothing else moves, dude. Like space and time just stays over there. Like, but effort is there. चेहरे पे दिखता है. He's just there.
हम लोग ऐसे गेम के बीच में चल रहा था क्योंकि वो जब वो डीप स्क्वायर पे था ना, तो व्हेन ही वाज रनिंग तो ये ऐसा बोल रहा है, अरे यार क्या हो रहा है. मैं इसको पूछ रहा था, ये लगता है कि एमएन जैसा भागता है.
I started laughing. I was like, Amen is better, dude. Effort at least shows.
But yeah, getting back. Sorry guys. But getting back. So you have seen Ashwin playing.
Yeah, I've seen him play. DK, I've seen him play and keep. Oh man, yeah. He was always like a very big talent coming up. Everybody knew of DK in St. Beats. Like he was like a legend back then also. He was not like somebody that just came out of like not many. It's not like people didn't know him. He was always going to be like this star that is going to come out.
Oh yeah, he was there. He was a part of the 2007 T20 World Cup.
Yeah. He was in the under-19 team also for them. He was a very rising star back.
I think Ashwin को बहुत late मिला recognition वैसे. बहुत time लगा.
2011.
Yeah, it took him some time to get into that.
And that's the thing, right? I mean, and that's probably very common with bowlers in general. In India in general, bowlers को थोड़ा time लगता है. उतना recognition और fan following मिलने में, I guess, right? So it's always hard.
But cricket in India was like a thing. That is why the only reason I probably picked up cricket as a sport is because of cricket in India. I don't know if I would have picked it up if I was in the US. No chance I would have picked up that sport as a thing. It's
But you guys had any like player that you admired that you wanted to copy them?
This was there, no? You will all play this character role. You have not done that like, let's play India versus Australia. You get 10 wickets, I get 10 wickets. So that time, you will play as all the batsmen only, no?
Yeah.
Sachin, you will have that action and everything.
So was there any player that used to be like, कि मेरे को इसको copy करने में मजा आता है?
मेरे को इसको क्या द्रविड़ का ब्लॉक शॉट मजा आता था करने में. उधर भी चुका ब्लॉक शॉट अग्रेसिव होने के बदले में, बट बहुत सही लगता था. That some visuals are kind of etched in your head, right? Like
something about
pace bowlers running in from like a mile away. This guy showing the full Britannia ka label, and the ball doesn't go like beyond 2 feet.
Think about it as an art form. That is why it is beautiful.
Exactly.
Like it is so artistic.
It is awesome to watch.
His structure and like his the symmetry of it is so beautiful.
Exactly.
That is what
that
is
the beauty part of it, right?
Amazing that is. Like 4 elbows, like kaisa aata tha.
That is something that I always used to just pointing that elbow forward and high ye sab kare.
With the front foot and like that was for me it was I liked 2-3 players. I liked Brian Lara. Like he used to have this unique style.
Oh yeah.
And I loved that I liked.
Funny story, I mean off topic again I guess, but the cousin I was telling you about, first from Bangalore, जो पूरा electricity board के साथ लफड़ा करने गया था. So that cousin, him and his wife had a few years ago gone to the Caribbean for like a vacation. And he's like a big cricket nut, so he knew कि इस शहर में ये cricketers आए हैं ये वो सब. I forget the exact town, but he was there, and there was this hotel. They just needed to go into the hotel to make like a call or whatever. They just go there, and randomly at the bar they see Brian Lara and Darren Ganga and all sitting there. So this guy being a cricket nut, he can't stay quiet. He has to go and talk to them and introduce himself. So Brian Lara was apparently so chill. He's like, come sit, have a drink with us, hey wo. And then after that he invited them to his home.
Nice.
And they went to his home. They sat at his home for more than 2 hours, just conversing about different things, cricket.
Nice, dude.
That's
insane.
That's
how
like
often does
जाते
that
रे Caribbean जाते हैं.
That's like a dream of like someone who follows cricket and has that passion for cricket ना कि भाई कोई एक ऐसा player मिले जिसके साथ कि
Same,
conversation
exactly,
करने
dude.
मिले.
Yeah.
I had the opportunity to talk with Matthew Hayden. Like not probably like very elaborately, but for me, cricketers, I could never see them as celebrities. Like I said, because I didn't grow up with that stature of celebrity
Right,
thing.
right.
So I've met Alvy Markell and Stephen Fleming also in a mall in Chennai, and I was talking to them. They were the first pick for Chennai Super Kings in 2008, and then Matthew Hayden at the bar. He was sitting outside, not the bar, but like he was sitting outside in an open patio area. I was just talking to people. We can sit there and chill with him and talk to them. He was just there for like 4-5 hours sitting there. Dude, I saw him. He was, they compare him to Namakal Anjaneer in Chennai.
You were mentioning that last time.
Namakal Anjaneer is this giant, probably like 40-foot Hanuman temple, dude.
Okay.
In Chennai, in Tamil Nadu.
Uh-huh.
So, because Hayden, generally South Indian people are tall and short and timid in statures.
Right.
When they saw Matthew Hayden all of a sudden walking into the
That guy, I mean, watching him bat for Australia.
insane, dude.
Comes out with his chest puffing like this, say और गिलक्रिस्ट दोनों साथ में, oh man.
That is the first thing I actually
Intimidating.
told him also. Earlier, being an India fan, I used to think you used to be this intimidating figure. Now that you are with us in Chennai, I don't feel that way. I'm so glad that you came to Chennai. He was like, he started laughing and he was like, a lot of people tell me this about this figure. Like, so there are more people probably who are chill like that.
Agreed.
Cricketers.
Yeah, but so yeah, I used to try copying Shoaib Akhtar for some time when I was bowling.
That action, no?
That action, because that was a very very different action from all the other bowlers.
He just ran.
He just ran.
He just ran like he was sprinting, except his arms wouldn't move. It would just stay up the
Yeah.
side till the end.
Like so that yeah,
and
I
then
think
just sling.
yeah, that was the bowler. But batting में तो मेरे को लगता है मैं ऐसे बैटिंग नहीं किया उतना, बट मेरे को वो बस सचिन का ना फेमस हो गया था वो ऐसा बैट वो जो एक
वो अभी भी करता है.
आई थिंक वो
कभी कभी देखता हूँ मैं बैटिंग करते हुए खड़ा होता है, ये क्या चल रहा है.
हाँ वो इनग्रेन हो गया. तो whenever I used to go to bat initially building में, बस मेरे को वो सचिन का एक 2-3 चीजें रहता था. One is that he's just trying to just squat a little. That would be one. The other one would be जब वो ball deliver हो जाता था ना, and if he leaves the ball or something, he would always look down where the ball has come. तो वो मेरे दिमाग में इतना बैठ गया ना, अभी भी मैं लाइक 3 बॉल खेलने आता है मैं मुश्किल से क्रिकेट में, बट मेरा एक भी बॉल लीव होता है ना, मैं पहले ऐसे नीचे देखता हूँ कि भाई अगला बॉल वहां आएगा तो मैं मारेगा.
भाई से डालने का छूट गया मैं खिंचाएगा ना वो बॉल. That time we will talk about it.
But what attracted me was the discipline. Like that focus that he had was कि ball छूटा है, but that mark that he used to see कि वहाँ पे मार गिरा है, and I want to make sure कि next time अगर उधर आया तो how do I want to play. That probably was something I used to mimic a lot when I used to play in my childhood or quite later also.
I think for me it was, for bowling it was Alan Donald.
Oh.
Such a unique thing. He used to have this powder face, and like he'll keep his face also like this weird when he do this thing before bowling. Batting was several people. Lance Klusner became my thing after the World Cup. Like this, I used to play left-handed. Then right-handed, so many were there. Azhar, I used to love Azhar.
Yeah, fun fact, Azharuddin के बारे में. Another cousin of mine. See, that's what I was telling you about all the cricket crazy family. So there's this other cousin of mine who's like he's a forensics department ka head in Manipal KMC mein. And he's just been another cricket nut. And he's someone who basically travels to like multiple cities and towns around, playing in all sorts of, previously leather ball also, tennis ball also. Now also he does a lot of them, but someone who's been like around for a long time in the cricket scene, district level, ये वो सब, tennis ball में बहुत ज़्यादा था उसका, so he used to play a lot, district level, state level, whatever. Even now, like he's what 48, 50 something now, he still goes with the students का team वगैरह, and then he plays with them इतना level पे उसका. So he used to tell me about this instance where he's run into a lot of cricketers at multiple occasions. One time Azharuddin के साथ net session या कुछ तो चल रहा था. Azhar was batting against like a bunch of net bowlers and all. So he told कि Azharuddin का इतना मतलब, he used to have so much time in judging the ball. Once the bowler released the ball, before the ball landed, he would call out where that ball is landing and then he would hit the shot.
Oh wow.
That's how like effective he used to be. The moment the ball releases, before it reaches the bat, he used to be like leg stump, off stump, या जो भी, या फिर the type of shot he's going to play, and then he would just go through with that. So that is the level of difference. And I mean, you probably hear a lot of people saying that, right? All these world-class batsmen, that's the biggest difference. They have that extra fraction of a second in which they judge the ball much quicker as soon as it's released. So अपन सोचते हैं बॉल लैंड होके पहुंचने तक पता नहीं चलता क्या खेलने वाले हैं, देखा जाएगा जो भी लास्ट मिनट में टाइप. But these guys used to be at another level completely. So
I knew a friend of mine, like उसके building में एक बंदा था, like he was the net bowler for a lot of the teams that used to visit India during our school time, like late during our school time, 10th grade या उसके बाद में he used to visit like he used to go as a net bowler. तो उसने गिलक्रिस्ट को एक ओवर में उसको एक ओवर दिया था गिलक्रिस्ट को डालने के लिए. he bowled गिलक्रिस्ट thrice. तो गिलक्रिस्ट ने उसको कुछ 1,000 रुपए या कुछ तो दिए थे कि just to take his cricket. I mean it's still something, right? Even if he wouldn't have gone beyond that, like यार 1,000 रुपए, I don't think it is the money that was the thing.
ज्यादा देने लगेगा तो सब लोग उधर टाइम लगाएंगे.
दिन गिलक्रिस्ट करियर होना फिर को.
So yeah, I was like यार मतलब it was good to know that people around are going and meeting.
Nice business idea, dude. That was for like retired cricketers. चलो एक अकेडमी खोलो, मेरे को आउट करके दिखा.
This was
try for half an hour.
This was not retirement. That's what I'm saying. This was when
Australia dude, but I'm giving idea. सेवा खोलो. 30 minutes to try to get me out. Competition. 1,500 rupees for every 30 minutes. है ना, वो कर सकता है आइडिया. He might open one tomorrow, who knows.
So yeah, so I think now we can move to the USA part where when you guys moved, did you start playing when you were in your masters?
नहीं. So again I think probably it's kind of ingrained in me at that point कि भाई अभी कुछ नया कर रहे हैं, पढ़ाई कर रहे हैं, लोन लेके आए हैं, ये वो सब, तो सिर्फ उस पे फोकस करो करके. So that was the thing on my head कि and there's pressure, especially when you come taking an education loan and you're like job सबसे पहले secure होना चाहिए. That was the first thing. So yeah, I didn't play as a part of the college team या ऐसे कुछ, but कॉलेज में एक जगह होता था एनसी स्टेट में, एमआरसी ग्राउंड है, ओपन कंक्रीट.
अच्छा, वहां से ही एमआरसी टीम का नाम.
एग्जैक्टली. सो उधर में वीकेंड्स पे लोग खेलते थे, एंड दीज आर लाइक प्लेयर्स हु यूज्ड टू प्ले इवन फॉर द एनसी स्टेट टीम आल्सो, बट इवन अदरवाइज जस्ट रिक्रिएशनल वीकेंड्स में वगैरह खेलते थे. सो आई स्टार्टेड प्लेइंग विद देम, एंड दैट इज वेयर and it was a great bunch of people just to play with, and the setup was that कि हर हफ्ते अलग अलग पर्सन को, रैंडम पर्सन को कैप्टनसी देते थे.
Oh, nice.
You select the team, टॉस डाल के you pick up the bowling order, batting order, जो भी करना है, and that was very nice, something that I really enjoyed. कि हाँ भाई, not the same two people every single time doing all that stuff. Every time they used to proactively try and make someone else the captain, which was great, and that was something I enjoyed, and I think that was literally the first time I like captained a team, and this is like some random tennis ball का 10 ओवर का मैच में खेल रहा है ऐसा, but I had like never captained उससे पहले, मतलब थोड़ा ऐसे लोकल गली क्रिकेट में थोड़ा किया था, but this was like, this felt different, and especially because this was when there were people from different parts of India mostly, but different parts of India के लोग साथ में थे. So language communication and the style of things and all of that comes into the picture, right? So in that sense, that was like a good opportunity. I'm like, okay, this is nice, I mean, it's something probably he कर सकता है, cricket भी अच्छे से खेल सकता है. And then once I started working, immediately is when I was like, okay, I need to try and see if I can get into cricket again. And I had heard that the league here is pretty big. So through Vedant, who's a mutual friend of ours, he was already playing for a team, so I got introduced to that team. And that's when I started playing. So,
right? But Vedant is trained in cricket. No, it's not. No, yeah, right? Like Swapnil, I don't think as much as Swapnil, but Vedant has.
Yeah, bowling he's like. Yeah. He's gone through a lot of coaching and stuff. And I mean, it actually shows in his accent. ठीक है, मतलब pace maybe not up there at this point of time or whatever, but you can see it in his run-up and his action that he's like very, very smooth in the way he delivers it. So,
So yeah, we'll have Vedant for I don't know if he'll be interested in the topic for cricket, but yeah, we'll have
You
some
will be
other
interested
podcast.
in topic cricket. नहीं बोलेगा.
But yeah, but हाँ, I mean I played for your team MRC. मेरे को लगा था एक्चुअली में एक टाइम पे कि MRC मेरे वजह से ही बंद हुआ है क्योंकि इनको इतना गंदा हराया था मैंने.
No, yeah, but that was the awesome part, dude. So MRC में basically stars थे. I mean, just the fact that all of us were playing week in, week out, the understanding that the players had about each other's skills and strengths, that is something that I've not felt anywhere else till now. Probably because the churn in the teams is usually fairly high.
Correct.
तो MRC में हम लोग इतना टाइम से खेल रहे थे. So, and in the TCL league here, we all were playing for different teams initially. We all just got introduced through some other people and we were all playing them. But we always had this idea कि यार चलो अगर if we have enough people available, we should make our own team once and play because this team can like rip apart teams, to be honest.
Correct.
I'm not just saying it just because it was our team, but on paper that was like an absolutely wonderful team. And luckily enough, there was one season where things just lined up and we were all like, chalo, we have like 13, 14 people, we'll get another 2-3 people from NC State. And that was our motto कि जितना हो सके NC State से ही लोगों को लेते हैं and we'll continue from there. And that was, my God, an amazing experience. I mean, just the fact that the first season itself, we went and literally just killed the teams and it was like a mix of all kinds of skill sets that we had as well. Yeah, amazing all-rounders, amazing leadership in the team and all of that. But like I said, just knowing every player inside out, we knew exactly कि
How to use
इस situation में ये बंदा ये कर
That's a
सकता है
great
या नहीं
feeling.
कर सकता है.
Yeah.
Just knowing that is such a beautiful feeling.
I've had that. I mean, I played in a lot of cricket even before I came to US. But so like I understand what you're saying. It's like in I think school we never had a good team. Like we'd win like occasionally. I used to keep. So I trained as a keeper and batsman. Keeper batsman meaning automatically in India it's like you go 5 down only. Fuckers won't give you batting.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then like I had to every time hit the fuck out of it for them to realize that I'm a better batsman than the top fuckers who are statisticians. Like after that I started going up and like it became a thing where I have to hit a lot of runs to become like a good team. Then that's why I didn't like cricket. I felt like, yeah, what is this? I'm not having fun. But when we played these gully cricket, tennis ball cricket, the talent, man, like individually we'll know, dude, he's this good in this, he's good in this. And that gelling is like next level.
It is amazing. It is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, in college football, that happened with me. Like suddenly, like until in school when I was playing football, we only had like 3-4 good players. Like, none of them were like, and then like other kids were full. In college, suddenly once the team built up and everything, dude, it felt like because you had to get people from like other districts and all. In college, they do that sports quota.
Right.
Every year I'll be waiting. So in third year I was captain. Like I started captaining since the end of second year. Third year I was captain. I used to wait for the sports quota entrance to come. Dude, it's like one superpower came. I had. And then like, because past 2 years you'd have gotten more superpowers. Like Pakka, you'll know who is who. And by when I was in fourth year, man, that football team we had, fuck. We used to go with one mass. Like, we knew, we were the shit. Like when you go to zonal tournament and all.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't happen many times in your life where you like have that perfect storm of all the right kind of people and the right kind of situation and skills and all coming through, and that makes a huge difference. Actually, I mean, that first season that we played, we made it. I mean, we won that tournament. HT, I think we were directly in Division 2 or whatever at that time, and we played and we won. That I think the final game, we were batting first and star-studded batting lineup we had and all of that. So that tournament, they made me the captain. They're like, you know what, we're going into TCL for the first time as a team. Why don't you lead us? I'm like, okay, I'll give it a shot. And then things were going well. Final game, the entire star-studded batting lineup started collapsing. Talk. Everyone's getting out, and I'm stuck on one end. I was opening at that time as well, so I was stuck on one end. And that innings, I think I had to like really, and I was struggling as well, just to stick it out through that tough period and then just work with the lower order, just try and build some small partnerships.
Correct.
Just fighting for every single run at that point. And then towards the end, in the last 2 or 3 overs, I got lucky where I think I just found that rhythm just by sticking it out there for that long and scoring some crucial runs, and I made like some 50-60 in that game. Gave us a target to defend, and we defended it like shit. I mean, we won it so comfortably at the end. It was like an average score, but we defended it well just because I think we just had that belief कि हाँ भाई कुछ तो target बन गया. I mean, कुछ तो score लगाया board पे, अभी try कर सकते हैं defend करने का करके. So that trophy I still have it in my living room, the TV cabinet console के ऊपर. That still for me is like the best innings for me. I've scored more runs than that. I've like played more crucial innings than that. But from a personal satisfaction standpoint, I think to try and put your hand up for the team when nobody else is performed on that particular day, especially in the final.
Live in your head for a long time.
And it was like a game changer for me in terms of confidence on my own abilities as well. I'm like, हाँ ओके सिंगल हैंडेडली मतलब जीता सकता है मैच में खुद भी ऐसे करके एंड आई एम नॉट डिस्कार्डिंग द bowling fact of it as well, but
you can change games.
Correct, that one innings, if it hadn't come at that point of time, then we would have been defending like a 50 or 60 score, which would have been a completely different situation. So there are like 2 or 3 innings like that which kind of have like helped me gain more confidence and define things better as well. That was one, and the other one was the first century that I hit with our team, Nomads, CRCC. Nomads था तब. हाँ तो पहला PL में century मारा, and I kept joking because I have never ever hit a century in my life. Not in gully cricket, not even in fucking book cricket. Book cricket में भी नहीं मारा मैं. Okay. So on paper itself, I've never scored a century. So just the fact that I was able to get to that mark, psychologically it does such a big difference in your head. कि अरे
नींद अच्छा है.
100 बना सकता है.
वो रात को नींद भी बहुत अच्छा आएगा.
अरे वो रात को तो बहुत कुछ हो गया था ना, क्रैश हो के
वो तो ग्राउंड पे गिर गए थे भाई अपने.
So that again was another innings which gave me like immense confidence कि हाँ भाई मतलब now I feel like I can go and win games for my team. Whatever situation, I don't need कि हाँ भाई कोई और main role करे and I can support. So till then I was like, okay, I'll be like a supporting role. I can be like play second fiddle to someone, but I probably need someone else करके. Now I'm like कोई मेरे को थोड़ा सा support देगा तो I can try and win a game. So that changes things.
Cricket was like
you played in NEU, Northeastern.
No, so I came did my masters first in Boston, then Northeastern University, that which is a pretty shit university.
Cricket तो बहुत कम ही होता होगा.
Forget cricket, they didn't even have a American football team. Yeah, they didn't have that shit. They were so bad. So football was a thing, and that time I had just finished 4-year college, and I played football more than I played. I captained my football team into zonals, interzonals, traveled with the team and everything. So I was in a very football, and so I didn't really give a fuck that the cricket wasn't there. But they had football, so I used to play football. Then I got a lot of injuries. Like I picked up like knee injury and ankle injury. Then when I started PhDs, when I restarted playing 2010. WVU had like an excellent team. They used to play in the Midwest Cricket League. It was a very competitive league, and I started playing there because their football was lower. Like soccer was a lower thing. Then it was for me. I was one of the games. I got interest in cricket because of how other people saw my contribution to the game. That is what made me feel like, man, I can get used to getting interested in it. Otherwise, I would have never found interest in cricket. Because something like it was a semi-final, final game or something, and then I played with like some serious interest because there was sledging going on, and one team like shitting on the other. And we were kids, dude. They were adults, like proper teams playing, and we were a school, college team, WVUCC. And there was so much of nonsense going on, and then we suddenly what the fuck is it? I can win this shit. I didn't think that we are gonna lose and all. So suddenly I just went and we changed the mood of the game. Basically it was a mood. We scored 130 into some 25 overs. It was 25 only. Okay. 130 or 135. And we defended the score. And it was purely because of just, changing the intensity in the game. Suddenly you're like, kya ho raha hai? Why the fuck do they think they were arguing and all on the field against us? They were going well, but I didn't think they were going to win. They were 40 for no loss or something. So then I changed the mood of the team, and the mood suddenly became some high intensity came. So then I felt like people were crediting me for the win overall. And then next was the final. This was the semi-final. I think we won the final where I scored. So I got an interest in the next match because of this match. Then we started playing a lot. I started getting interested in cricket, to be at least connected with the sport. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been. Yeah, I mean, the eight masters to full on went with romance only, dude. Like, fuck all romance only. I didn't study. No studies and all. Football I played, broke all my leg. Got shit GPA.
Nice. So basically, of the three people here, one person was just focused on finishing his degree and finding a job. One person was just focused on romance. तेरा क्या सीन था?
मेरा नहीं, हम लोग के Dallas had a really huge cricket का thing, but the problem was they used to play, at like a little outside from where we were staying for our university, like near our campus. तो होता ये था कि हम लोग को while I was doing internship, right? So there was this guy who used to play only hard tennis. तो उसने हम लोग को पूछा भी था कि if anyone is interested, तो मैंने उसको बोला था भाई मैं bowling कर सकता हूँ. I have not played for some time, but होता ऐसा था ना कि he had to basically drive पहले उल्टा to pick me up and then take me all the way. And Dallas being such a big town, तो from one end to the other end is a long drive. तो पहले एक दो बार उसने बोला कि मैं आता हूँ, बाद में वो खुद ही ना बोल देता था कि भाई बहुत दूर पड़ रहा है, मैं लेट हो रहा हूँ. So I never played cricket, but हम लोग क्या करते थे फिर then we used to play something in college, ऐसा किया. But the actual cricket only started when I moved to Raleigh. Like, and that too was, मेरे को पता भी नहीं था कि TCL was such a big thing. Not a big thing back then, but was something like this was happening here. मैंने तो बस I wanted to start playing something. I had started playing football through the Meetup app, but मेरे को था कि cricket भी देखता हूँ. And that's how I got into the Royals team in TCL. And फिर पता चला कि भाई cricket league अपने में ही इतना बड़ा चीज है. But yeah, university time I think मैं बाकी सब time pass करता था because थोड़ा बहुत football भी खेला and I used to just go around enjoy with friends. But cricket university के time पे it was not a thing. Like I thought there would be leagues, like how you said MRC was a thing. Yeah, it was not there with us. Like चालू हुआ when I was about to leave university, but तब तक
Very sad fuck.
yeah, I mean, but we used to that's why we used to go play either I used to go to sometimes do workout or sometimes I used to just या तो squash खेलते थे या तो racket ball, something of those sports, more of indoor sports rather than outdoor sports. Because football में भी यार हम लोग, मैं एक बार गया था तो भाई वो बंदा, उसको क्या लगा वो मेरे को क्यों डॉज करेगा क्या मालूम, वो जैसे मेरे तरफ भाग के आया ना, मैंने बोला आज से मैं फुटबॉल ही नहीं खेल रहा है. उसको गुस्सा था
बगैर
इंजरी हुए. No,
this is some serious issue.
No, because dude, the thing was right. The fear was like, so. The backstory to that is that I had to go to an ER for a cyst on my back. तो वो सर्जरी के बाद इतना लंबा चौड़ा बिल आया and I had to pay from my pocket. So that scared me so much that whatever was there to injure me, I was like मैं नहीं करेगा ये. I don't want to get injured because already जेब से बहुत पैसा गया है. I cannot put more money just behind that. So when that guy ran towards me and he was a beefed up guy, dude. And उसको क्या लगा भाई मैं इतना सा है तेरे सामने, लाइक एक बोरी होता है ना वैसा छोटा सा, वो लाइक इतना जूट बैग होता है ना वैसा रहेगा मैं उसके सामने, वो उसके सामने ऐसा भाग के आया, मैं बोला भाई मैं नहीं गया.
He probably saw that only.
Probably, like he thought that I'll get a little scared and and
imagine, I mean I'm sure that guy doesn't know about this, but imagine if someone goes and tells him कि देख तूने एक बार ऐसे भागा था, एक बंदे ने फुटबॉल खेलना बंद कर दिया. हाईलाइट ऑफ हिज लाइफ दैट.
I never played football also after that. So yeah,
करियर का बिगेस्ट अचीवमेंट रहेगा बेचारे का.
But yeah, that should be a segue to our TCL. Shravan already gave a little bit of it, but TCL, the Triangle Cricket League, which is today like a politics of its own. इधर ही BJP कांग्रेस सब होता है.
TCL is bigger than IPL, bro.
यहाँ पे पॉलिटिक्स, यहाँ पे
IPL ends in 3 months.
That's very true. That's a really good thing to put.
क्या बोल रहा है, इधर एंटरटेनमेंट तो चालू रहता है 24 आवर्स.
अपने लिए इन लोग IPL में तो इम्पैक्ट प्लेयर ये साल चालू किया, अपने इधर इम्पैक्ट प्लेयर आ ही रहे सालों से. सडनली कोई आ रहा है किधर से खेलने को.
इम्पैक्ट प्लेयर मे नेवर प्ले द गेम. इम्पैक्ट अंपायर्स.
People are getting paid to fly from different stage.
हाँ ना, impact umpire, impact player,
भाई.
employee, ये कुछ भी है, चलता है.
So what was your first leather ball cricket that you played in TCL? Which team was it for?
Kerry
Was it
Cricketers.
Kerry?
Yeah, it was with Kerry Cricketers. So I started playing tennis ball with another team, and then that team wasn't registering for one season or something. So through another friend, they introduced me to Kerry Cricketers. So Kerry Cricketers के साथ tennis ball खेला था. And then leather ball, because my other team didn't have a team at that point, I was like, okay, I'll try and talk to Kerry Cricketers and figure out. And you know, again, one of those teams I think where great bunch of people in general who are like very open to you know bringing new people in and stuff like that. So they were like, yeah, sure, you know, come and play. And पहला मैच में आई थिंक ओपनिंग गया क्योंकि उस टाइम तक एसटी ऑलरेडी ओपन रेगुलरली कर रहा था तो लेदर बॉल में भी ओपनिंग गया. आई थिंक इट वाज ऑन Bethesda lower actually.
Oh, हाँ तब तो Bethesda upper lower was the.
Yeah. I think it was against 12th man.
तब से है 12th मैन. भाई स्ट्रगल ही कर रहे हैं तब से 12th मैन. आ ही नहीं पा रहे ऊपर.
Yesterday I saw them play on chat screen.
They
got all out for 70
Same division में ही है इतने सालों से बेचारे. जाते ही नहीं है, ऊपर भी नहीं जाते, नीचे भी नहीं जाते.
बेचारे.
हाँ.
So just for context,
हम लोग पॉडकास्ट में डिस करते हैं क्या? चलेगा सब.
हाँ, it's fine.
तेरे को कंटेंट मिल गया. New content. But just for the context, now these TCL is a league in the place where we stay, North Carolina. It's a cricket league. It is very religious. There's a lot of ways for a lot of people. So it's a large league. It's a fun league to play.
लोगों का वीकेंड बनता है और वीकेंड खराब होता है.
हाँ वो तो
definitely.
TCL is more of a social club. Is the way I see it.
Yeah.
For me, I feel like it's a social. I mean, when I first came to North Carolina, I didn't know much. When I moved here, the plan was that me and Roshni will move here. But I didn't know anything outside of TCL. I didn't know anybody, or I knew a lot of work colleagues, but that's about it. So TCL introduced me to the social ecosystem first.
But what team did you play for?
Royals.
Oh, you started with Royals as well. Okay, so you left Royals and I started playing for Royals.
That's the thing. Like
भरत बहुत फेमस था रॉयल्स में.
हाँ ना.
ऐसा फेमस है इनफेमस.
अभी समझ जाने का. भरत का नाम लिया है तो.
I'm always nobody likes me, dude.
Famous in what ways we have to know about that. I think even the listeners, if they would have gone from the first episode until now, they would have understood somewhere.
Famous. Dude, people don't want to listen, dude.
हाँ नहीं.
They don't want to listen to the truth everywhere. No, that's the big problem.
Yeah, nice work saying that on a podcast. The irony of it.
हाँ इधर बात बहुत सच ही बोलते हैं. अगर in IRL, in real life.
This is a TCL is a topic that I want Vedant and Bharat to be on the podcast.
हाँ तो तू इधर चुप बैठेगा.
That will be a podcast. वो first time होगा podcast तो जब मैं एकदम शांत बैठ के spectator बनेगा podcast पे.
हाँ महासंग्राम. उसके लिए special expression वाला thumbnail डाल सकते हैं.
I will actually video record that.
See, I'll tell you my TCL experiences. Well, I never took cricket that seriously. So for me, when people got very emotional, okay, so you're taking this very seriously. So I'll tell you, you're a shit. This is what's going on. You want to know? Take it. So that they don't want to know. Then, what is the point of you taking it seriously? Either take it seriously, they talk about it, or no. You want to wonder. Like that's what happened with Royals. I was telling them that the way they were doing things are like just dumb sometimes. They're outrightly wrong also. They didn't like it, dude. And then like there were arguments about that and all that. But then there are some people connections. Like I'm very good friends with Mayur. You maintain relationships, and that's what builds out as a network.
Yeah. I mean, I started with Royals in 2017, and when they messaged me for my availability for 2018, and that time I think we were starting with the CRCC thing. I was hesitant to say no because there were a couple of people who had been so nice with me and always would support me no matter what, knowing that I had never bowled with a leather ball or uske like the extras and everything that used to happen. Fielding acha nahi tha. Like I used to get scared of the ball initially in my games. So, but they had still asked me a couple of times. So I felt really bad telling them कि नहीं भाई मैं अभी I'm going into another team. So what you said is true, that the connections that you make with some players in a team, that just makes it very difficult to later in your stage to जब आता है कि you have to say no, that you want to move to some other team, or otherwise too they make your experience in that season a nice one. To be there, like you don't feel like a shit. Like that's what happened with me in few places when I started playing with Royals. Is I knew for a fact that they would only pick me if there are not 11. And their policy was कि अगर 12th में तेरे को 12th man तू है, तेरे को टीम अगर तू गेम के लिए आएगा तो नेक्स्ट गेम यू विल गेट सिलेक्टेड. सो दे यूज्ड टू गिव दैट लालच कि ठीक है ये रैप. तो आई यूज्ड टू गो फॉर द गेम्स बिकॉज एनीवेज कुछ और नहीं होता था वो टाइम पे. आई वाज स्टिल स्टिल ट्राइंग टू मेक कनेक्शंस इन रैली. सो मैं जाता था एज 12th मैन भी, और नहीं भी है तो भी आई यूज्ड टू गो एंड वॉच. सो दे सॉ दैट पैशन एंड दे यूज्ड टू टेक मी, बट स्टिल दे केप्ट डूइंग दैट फ्यू टाइम्स कि 11th मैन नहीं है, ठीक है तू आजा. एंड देन व्हाट वुड हैपन इज कि वो होता है ना कि 9 to 13 या 9 to 14 ओवर होता है कि जहाँ पे एक मिस्टेक अलाउड होता है कि अगर ये खराब हुआ तो लेटर यू कैन अगेन फिक्स इट. वो टाइम पे मेरे को बॉलिंग देते थे कि अगर इसका खराब ओवर हुआ
तो मेकअप करेगा,
तो मेकअप करने के लिए कोई और को लेके आ जाएंगे.
दैट पॉइंट ऑफ द गेम वेयर अच्छा डाला तो एक दो और निकाल सकते हो ओवर.
Exactly.
अदरवाइज बाद में वी कैन गो बैक टू द रेगुलर्स.
But yeah, I made good friends through that.
TCL is where the first time in my life I found out that people value cricket more about themselves. Like somewhere I started seeing this people value people also based on their cricket sense.
They measure their happiness and their success based on their TCL contributions, I guess, or cricket contribution, which is unfortunate, but
So you have, Shravan, you have played for carry cricketers. T20 तो वही चलता रहा.
T20 that's the only team I played with.
CRCC हुआ, then Cheetahs हुआ.
एक सीजन Cheetahs.
Then फिर वापस तो Nomads में आया. And then you moved to which team? Last year तो कहाँ खेला था?
Last year I played for Kerry Warriors.
Kerry Warriors के लिए.
And this year I'm playing for FIFA.
So 5 PL teams.
Yeah, so that's the unfortunate part, I guess, is के T20 में I'm like fixed in this team, and that's where I want to continue as well. But because we don't have our own PL team, I'm still kind of trying to find a base. I mean, and again, each of these teams that I've played with have been amazing to play with as well. And I think it's obviously a mix of the team personnel as well. Plus, I think as an individual, I feel like I am someone who kind of gets along with most people in general. So it's fairly easy for me. And to be honest, I don't have too many expectations when I go onto the pitch कि हाँ मेरे को ये चाहिए वो चाहिए type.
Correct.
So I'm fairly flexible in that sense, especially when I'm going into a team brand new. Just because I might have done well in another team or whatever, I don't want them to be forced to kind of play me in a specific role or whatever. I'm like, तुम लोग देखो, तुम लोगों का टीम के बारे में तुमको अच्छा पता है. So you need to make that assessment of where I will fit in your team, not कि I need to be in some place and you work your entire team around that. So that won't happen. So
I think even for me, like in TCL, वो चीज तो मैं देख लिया कि like people can actually judge you just by one game and पूरा season वो game पे चलेगा तुम्हारा.
Dude, like
this was my introduction to TCL.
See, at the end of the day, all these guys making the calls, all these leaders, captains, BODs, whatever, are also still like fairly immature in
absolutely. I mean, you
the
can
amount
see
of
that
cricket that we played.
You can see that from how you get treated in a team or something. Like it's fun sometimes because then you know कि मेरे को अभी जाके मेरे को चांस मिला तो खेलेगा, नहीं मिला तो मैं अपना फील्ड पे एंजॉय करेगा. बिकॉज फॉर मी स्टिल क्रिकेट इज जस्ट फॉर मी टू गेट आउट ऑफ होम एंड स्पेंड अ डे or probably few hours on that field just to enjoy, because I love running. I love being that athletic thing that I have in me पहले से. तो बस मेरे लिए वो है, इसलिए मैं कभी कभी मेरे को दिखता है ना कि मेरे को कोई साइड लाइन कर रहा है, मैं छोड़ देता. मैं बोलता ठीक है, मैं मेरा भाग तो ले गए. फील्ड तो मेरे को मालूम है, आई एम कॉन्फिडेंट दैट फील्डिंग में तो मेरे को वो ऐसे जगह पे रखेगा कि जहाँ पे मेरे को वो यूज करना ही पड़ेगा उसको. तो आई यूज दैट एज एन अपॉर्चुनिटी. बॉलिंग में ठीक है, आई नो माई सेल्फ की होता है, इसलिए मैं भी उसको कुछ बोलता नहीं. बट या TCL हैज टॉट मी कि because I saw
how people treat people differently. I think Dude, I have learned this through my life. Right? Like childhood, you see other people treating people.
but
Different
no,
experiences you
but
get.
the thing is,
TCL
right,
taught you something new.
it's like when you were a kid and some older person is trying to deal with you this way, it's very different. But right now we are almost around the same age.
No, see, I've seen people, my friends treat other friends, and like you see those
I mean,
relationships
but वो भी
also.
adulthood के बाद ही दिखा रहेगा ना.
हाँ,
Like I'm saying,
yeah.
like TCL में we are bunch of grown-ups. We are no more just 18, 19. हम लोग ऐसे बेवकूफ नहीं रहे अभी वो.
That is when you found out.
Like
एज होकर चूतिया रह सकता है.
like that's where I felt somewhere.
एज हो गया कि मतलब ये
No,
बन गया
because
नहीं.
like how people can get so serious about things that I cannot deal with this.
Yeah, there is a lot of people.
Then
who
the
are-
recreational is like the recreational है ये league, but I am playing for my either ego or my pride or whatever you call it. I am playing for that, so I am going to make decisions and I am going to play the entire game based on that. So वो एक बहुत interesting
For
game
me, it
समझा
was
मेरे
like about I could not tolerate like you. It was very similar, but for me, I could not tolerate like people throwing bullshit at somebody else also. There are dumbasses who just stay quiet, dude. Like this abusive nonsense. Where people are fucking like just stay quiet here.
Yeah.
So that I couldn't. I was like, what is going on? Like,
Right.
why is this adult people? Yeah, like what the.
Right.
So that I learned through TCL. It was a interesting symbiotic relationship of
Right.
US Indians
Right.
playing here and yet measuring themselves not by why they have come to US, but by this league and what they do.
I
in
mean,
the
imagine,
league.
right? Because
हाँ ना.
you didn't come for playing cricket here.
Exactly.
कि यहाँ पे मैं TCL में खेलेगा और मेरा नाम बढ़ाएगा.
Not even one player is actually even like I wouldn't even call them semi-pro.
Yeah.
Like nowhere.
शुद्ध भाषा में बोलना मतलब किसी के जाट के समान नहीं है.
हाँ ना.
फिर भी-
हाँ, फिर भी that is exactly so. Like it is a fascinating thing to see. So like. That's what, like, for me, I would get, like, whatever if I while playing cricket, and I saw, like, Chutiaba, I'll point out that will get me into, like, issues all the time. But I don't know if that is why people hold a grudge. So a lot of people, like, suddenly will, like, not respond properly on the field. When you're batting, they're, like, different. And that all is, like, here only I came and learned that is a thing that people hold very dear to them.
But then I, like, those initial things that I had seen here, मेरे को फिर वो लगा कि does that happen even back in India? Like मैं क्रिकेट खेला नहीं इंडिया में तो मेरे को आइडिया नहीं. But ये जो इतना लोगों का एक ये बन जाता है कि भाई उनका एक फील्ड ऑन फील्ड एंड ऑफ फील्ड इतना अलग अवतार होता है. Like does that happen back in India? Because I never played.
Here actually
I don't
on and
know.
off field is not that different. Is what I'm saying. They let a game, how much ever time they spend on the field, actually affect
Become
their
the
relationship outside.
Yeah.
So, and I feel like it's because of the US mechanical life. There's not really anything else fucking going on for people to hold on to
Right.
for their highs and lows. So it's something that I think people hold on. That's what I feel. That's my sense of it. Like, that's why whenever like when I see like arguments on the field, like game. Ultimately, it's a fuck all game. But some people are angry for a long time, and it is like after a point, it just gets hilarious.
मेरा तो सिंपल फंड है भाई, मतलब रिक्रिएशनल लीग है, सब है.
I think मेरे को लगता है कि तेरे को स्लेज करता है कोई फील्ड में.
मेरे को अभी तक
वही सोच रहा हूँ.
स्लेज एज इन लाइक जनरल ट्रैश टॉक वगैरह करते हैं, बट ऐसा कभी नहीं हुआ कि अरे इस बैट्समैन ये आया इसको थोड़ा आज लेंगे करके. ऐसा कभी हुआ नहीं. मतलब अगेन
Like I've had that happen. I have that happen all the time.
तेरे
That
face
is
पे लिखा है.
justifiable.
हाँ.
I mean, fair enough.
And that is what I'm saying. I'm saying
Fair
that is
enough.
fun.
Exactly.
It is, and to me, ultimately, I find that as entertaining. Like, what the fuck are you gonna do? Like standing out there 8 hours shooting. Like, I'm sure that is why cricketers do it in the field. Why are they doing it? Like
No,
banter
but
is.
Have you heard about that sledge? मेरे को वेदांत ने बताया था ये. कौन से तू था कि नहीं वो टीम में पता नहीं. वेदांत बोल रहा था कि TCL का कोई गेम हो रहा था and वो एक फील्डर है वो कंटिन्यूसली बैटर को स्लेज कर रहा था and he was just going non-stop and suddenly he just
The batsman just turned around and.
but the thing was what he did is तो वो फील्डर बोला वो ऐसे ही नॉर्मल कीपर से बात करते करते या बैटर को बोला यू नो व्हाट आई हैड दिस मॉर्निंग फॉर ब्रेकफास्ट योर वाइफ. आई एम नॉट किडिंग. ये वेदांत ने मेरे को बोला था. लाइक फक मतलब इतना हद तक चले गए कोई.
No, I don't know if this was out of anger or he might have just been like absolutely going on.
He might have just been, yeah.
Dude,
वो ले रहा है बस उसका.
and the batter actually ran behind him with the bat. भाई यार कौन?
हाँ ना तो वो करेगा ही. Even I would have started and laughed only after that.
ये वेदांत के साथ fact check करेंगे next time, but yeah, I remember.
That's a fun thing. That's something that I'm sure they will probably, I mean, hopefully they'll laugh about like sometime.
Yeah.
तो बैटिंग खेल रहा था. Fucking with you. Took the bat and we ran. You remember?
The funniest moment. Do you remember any funny moments in your?
हाँ भाई, related to sledging only. इसी महाशय के साथ
Oh,
पहला
that
बार जो
CRCC versus NC State हुआ
NC
था.
State का वुल्फ पैक में. तो बेसिकली कुछ तो चल
You
रहा
know
था.
that CFDP.
हाँ, CFDP पे चल रहा था मैच. बताते हैं, मैं स्टोरी है ना इधर अभी बताता है.
There are few, dude. I don't know. Several have
So
happened.
this was like the very first time I was playing with you guys in that team. That season I played only 2 or 3 games with you guys, and this was probably the first or second game. मैं आया है पार्ट टाइम स्पिन बॉलिंग ऑप्शन करके. सामने
Oh हाँ, now I remember.
I know. He got hit for sixes.
सामने खड़ा है ऋषि मोदी खड़ा है सामने. ये भरत और ऋषि का कुछ तो तो भरत और ऋषि का कुछ तो लफड़ा हुआ है. तो भरत से कीपिंग कर रहा है और उसको स्लेज करना है ऋषि को. ऋषि भी एड़ा है, उसको भी गुस्सा आता है बहुत. जो बैट लेके जाता है
because you have played with him before.
हाँ, like I mean he's like kind of a little shorter. मैं आ रहा हूँ बॉलिंग पे. इस माशे को और कोई ओवर नहीं मिला स्लेजिंग करने के लिए. इधर सब मंजे हुए बॉलर सब डाल रहे हैं पहले से. उनके बॉलिंग पे कुछ नहीं बोलेगा. ये पार्ट टाइम स्पिनर पहली बार डाल रहे हैं पीएल में बॉलिंग. वो सेट है बैट्समैन. ये पीछे से बक पहला बॉल ढाक छक्का में.
Swapnil was there in the first slip, dude. As like if Shravan is, I don't think he had played with us before.
That was the first game.
They needed like 30 runs or something. So the game was done.
Exactly. That's why I got
So
to
we were
bowl
like,
to begin with.
let's do some fun. Let's fuck out.
वो that guy is getting worked up. ठीक है, पहला छक्का मारा. ऐसे ही खुन्नस में सीरियस मुंह नीचे करके रेडी हो गया नेक्स्ट बॉल के लिए. बॉल आया, फिर से डाला. तब उसके बीच में ये जब बॉल खोज रहा है, ये कुछ फिर से बकबक कर रहा है. वो चुपचाप सुन रहा है, जस्ट वेटिंग कि हमारे बैट से जवाब देगा. बट बैट से जवाब देके चुप नहीं होता ना. बैट से मारने के हाँ, तो दूसरा छक्का मारा. उल्टा घूम के इसको बैट दिखा रहा है, ऐसे जैसे आमिर सोहेल दिखा रहा था ना वेंकटेश प्रसाद को. ऐसा दिखा रहा है कि जा देख के वो करके. ये बंदा हंस रहा है. उसको और गुस्सा आ रहा है. मैं इधर खड़ा होकर मैं हंस रहा हूँ मेरे बॉलिंग पे क्यों कर रहा है. तीसरा बॉल फिर से छक्का.
3 balls, 3
छक्के पिटा.
I was looking at Swapnil, dude, this guy eating is one thing, that guy is bowling like shit is like another thing. Then when the second 6 happened, I didn't think that he would actually be like the batsman would actually be like that excited about it.
Like,
I got a 6. I was
Yeah, he
ये 2 रीजन के लिए हंस रहा है. एक तो ये हंस रहा है कि तू इतना गुस्सा हो के चिढ़ गया, मेरे को मजा आ गया, मैं हंस रहा है टाइप. दूसरा, इसके बॉलिंग पे तू मार के इतना खुश हो रहा है इसलिए हंस रहा है.
dude, the game was.
I know, that's exactly. So that was like a very fun incident. ऐसे मतलब किसी और के स्लेजिंग किसी और के झगड़े में मेरा यहाँ पे कट गया.
I think my funniest incident, I don't think, and there will be anything more funny than that, was Manish ka incident.
He sledged?
No, you
He
don't
fell.
remember the run out, the run.
The falling, crawling. Crawling was next level, bro.
Dude,
I haven't seen this. I've just heard it from multiple accounts.
Bro, this is next level. Dude, Manish is an excellent guy, okay? First of all, maybe we should clarify. Manish is an excellent guy. He plays cricket with us. And he plays something with us. He plays in our team. Joke karta hai na. Dude, my God, the amount of talent he has on a cricket field is more than cricket can be with hello, dude. The amount of entertainment he brings.
Yeah, but I think for the listeners, so हुआ वही था ना कि they took the first run and they went for the second run.
They didn't go for the second run. Manish
went for the second run, and the non-striker said no.
Praga.
The non-striker said no.
Like this.
Manish fell down.
near the non-striker's feet.
While trying to stop from running. Okay.
No, he
This
fell
was
on
basically-
Braga's feet on the other side.
This was basically when the other batter is saying no,
When you
you
try and
try
stop.
to stop and run back,
Right.
right? He turned and he fell down. अब क्या होता है ना, उठ के आदमी भाग सकता है, कुछ भी कर सकता है. He started crawling. और crawling भी ऐसा, like it was so bad कि अंपायर को पड़ी नहीं है, रन आउट हो रहा है नहीं हो रहा है, अंपायर
I'll
छोड़
tell you
दिया
what
है,
happened.
कीपर छोड़ दिया है.
He was doing
कीपर
army
छोड़
crawl. He
दिया.
was doing, dude, from the other end of the wicket. It was not a short distance. The best part is, I can understand if it is like 3 or 4 feet or like 5, 10 feet also I understand. Like, sometimes you fall, you're like, ये पहुंच सकता है. Like, you know, you start crawling and you might do it. This is not that way. There's a long way.
Dude, he struggled and it's not like
The keeper fell
इतना
laughing.
fast आया.
Ayan
वो struggle किया और वो कैसे तो भी बैट रख के ऐसा सो गया फील्ड पे.
Ayan couldn't collect the ball. He couldn't stop laughing.
वो मेन अंपायर बैठ गया हंसते हंसते.
Swapnil only umpire. Swapnil only.
हाँ, स्वप्निल ही था.
Swapnil.
Oh man,
It
that
was
was
like
the
umpire.
best
He
view
fell,
ever.
dude.
That was the
He
best
fell.
moment ever in my life.
Oh my
कि
god.
किसी को पड़ी नहीं है.
Oh my
वो
god.
फील्डिंग टीम को भी पड़ी नहीं कि इसको आउट करे. Yeah, that was the most funniest thing ever seen in my life.
इसीलिए मनीष जैसा होना चाहिए टीम.
Yeah.
लाइक 5-10 साल बाद अपने को कौन से इनिंग्स में क्या मारा, कितने विकेट लिया, ये नहीं याद रहने वाला. यही सब याद रहने
Dude,
वाला.
I'm telling you, that was something else of, like, I don't think I'll ever forget. I'll tell this to my kids also. When Manish has kids, I'll tell them what your father did. Your father. You know what it
The
is.
only thing is he takes it sportingly, so that's fun.
हाँ
right?
ना, dude.
मस्त है.
Like
Okay, bhai, how else will he take it? Has to
I
take
mean,
it.
we know people who don't take it sportingly, so let's not get there.
That is also there.
Anyway, so I think we covered good part about cricket, TCL. We can
I
talk
thought
a
don't
lot.
TCL, we should go into
We
rabbit
can,
holes.
we have a lot to talk,
Bring in
and
more
we
people.
have.
And again, just as a disclaimer, TCL जब बोलते हैं तो we're not talking about the league or the body itself, but just about the teams and the players. and
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah,
right? So
yeah.
that's
We don't really want to comment about the league as a whole.
वो तो comment होएगा.
But, yeah.
Inherent store or sentiment से पता चलेगा. TCL is a great ecosystem.
It is indeed.
So it's a great ecosystem for the triangle community.
It's keeping people connected, so it's nice.
It's still something for people to do.
We have, like, if we talk about TCL, तो TCL में खुद में ही 3 अलग-अलग formats है, HT, T20 and the PL.
How many people play, dude? And like, shout out to King's team if you're listening to this.
Oh wow.
You know.
Okay. All right. I think
Played
that's the end for the podcast then. Thank you for being until now till the end of the podcast, and thank you Shravan for being on the podcast. And since Shravan has shown so much of interest, I think we know we have one guest for sure that's going to be there on a repeat
Yeah, we should do
for the
another.
next podcast.
अलग-अलग topics पे विशेष
ब्रह्मांड
विशेष
करेंगे.
टिप्पणियां और input देंगे.
Definitely. So, all right, guys. Thank you for listening. We'll talk to you in the next episode. Bye.
Ciao.